for two, kickers are extra, I give them the boot. Ooh, going for two, sit back, relax while I grab me a brew. Ooh, now I'm reclining while putting my time and I'm ready to go. My spine is aligning and much my lineups, my bank account grow. I am so rich, but knowledge is all that I'm leaving it with. Ooh, listen to this, multiple options, how far can I get? Ooh, DFS Dynasty redraft tonight, I'm not finishing last. I'm finishing past, any and all I am looking to last. What else? This spot is popping and I am so locked in and only opening the door when it is opportunity knocking. And all of these spots keep on talking and talking, so what are we talking? What kind of alignment and running it deep, even players forgotten or came from the bottom or hitting that top end. And this spot is popping, yeah, this spot is popping and woo! This is the armchair, yeah. Put up your arms, yeah. Sound the alarm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo!
What is going on, guys, and welcome to episode 347 of the Armchair Fantasy Show. I am your host, of course, Jeff Lambert. You can follow me on Twitter at JeffLambert77. Of course, we're live here every Wednesday night on the Going for Two Live podcast network. We're on Facebook Live, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. We are also on our own website now, goingfor2.live. We have a .live account, so we are there as well. You can find all of our links to all of our YouTube Fed stuff. We're also, of course, on all major podcast networks. If you're on YouTube watching us, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. It helps us out. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Ryan Searfoss, who had some issues beforehand with his computer, but I think we're good now. What's up, Ryan?
It wasn't an issue, just a reset. I had to update. But I'm thrown off by this .live thing. I feel like I should have known this.
You did. It's been in a couple of the chats. You just don't read the chats anymore.
That's fair. I should have known this. But yeah, check out goingfor2.live.
I wanted all the links to everything in one centralized place that I could send everybody. If you wanted to follow us on YouTube, on Twitch, on kick.com, which we're on that now as well. So we're pretty much everywhere.
I hear the kids get a kick out of that. But yeah, dude, .live, it's so much better than .com. I mean, that's rolled 2000 and late. That's awesome.
All right, joining us tonight. It's been a couple years since we've had this guy on, Mr. Shane Manila. He's the host of the Dynasty Trades in 5 and also a writer over at Destination Devi. And you can follow him on Twitter at Shane is the worst. What's up, Shane?
Hey, what is going on this evening?
Not much, man. So give us a quick rundown of what you do over at Dynasty Trades in 5 and what kind of written content you do as well.
Well, let's see. I only do one article a week. Follow the volume. It's exactly what it sounds like. I talk about stat share. I talk about targets. I talk about air yards. I talk about all the things that are quantifiable. Basically following those to tell us what we should be doing, right? Like AJ Brown had a couple bad weeks up until, to start the season. People were a little, I don't know. And I'm like, just chill. Look at his targets. Look at his route participation. My man is fine. Like all the peripherals are fine. That's my favorite word, peripherals. So it's looking at a lot of those things and trying to determine like, what do we do? And in every article, try to make sure I give some actionable information, right? Because we don't write art as much as I'd like to pretend that we do. People aren't reading me because my word I'm a wordsmith and it's beautiful and it brings a tear to the eye. They're reading me because they want information and they want to know what to do. So I try to give them some actionable information too.
Good stuff. And tell us about the podcast.
Dynasty Trades in 5. Tuesday streams. Been going strong. We just had our 2-year anniversary. We just did a 5-hour stream on Friday. Oof. Yeah, 5 hours. The second time we did a 5-hour one. I think we did. I don't remember what the first one was for. I don't know who I'm kidding. But yeah, we did a 5-hour stream. It was a good time. We had Ray GQ jumped on with us as one of our guests. Well, actually, he's our only guest. The rest of the time, it was us 3. And then, spend most of my time in our Patreon on Discord, just cutting it up with everybody that joined our community there, doing AMA weekly there on Saturdays, and then Monday morning drives, where whatever the hell's rushing through my head from the night prior of football, we talk about that on the way to work.
Good stuff. And Jamie's in the chat. He says keep it clean tonight, but you don't have to keep it clean. Brian doesn't keep it clean. So
I was like, did I get canceled last week? That's more for Shane. That makes me feel better.
Yeah.
All right, guys. As always, we are brought to you, of course, by Underdog Fantasy. Check out their best ball leagues, tournaments, and private leagues for pick'ems, every major sport. Use our promo code GF2 and get a deposit match up to $100. It's as simple as that. Use promo code GF2, and we're gonna do some pick'ems tonight on the show as well, like we normally do. We have yet, unfortunately, to hit one of our pick'ems, Ryan. So we haven't been doing so great, but I hope tonight's the night that we get one correct. So for tonight, we'll be doing some Spade or Fade, which is basically our version of the start sits. We're going to do some I was wrong, basically looking at some players that we liked coming into the season that we are now ready to give up on.
I hate admitting that I'm wrong because I'm never wrong.
Because you're never wrong, exactly. Of course, we'll get to some listener questions, which we had some actually pre-show questions come through. I guess Shane's the big star here. He's got a fan already in the chat before we even went live asking me questions. So we'll get to those as well. But of course, as always, kick it off with the nonsense draft.
Attention, everyone. Let's mock draft.
All right. So tonight we are drafting horror movie villains for a battle royale fight to the death. And I had to go. I'm not a huge horror movie fan. I had to go look up some things, and I haven't watched a lot of the ones I'm going to draft tonight, but I do got some good ones. But as always, the guest gets to go first. So Shane, you got the 101 here.
Good one. And going back and forth, there's a couple devil related ones. I don't want to put his name out there because I'm table talk, but I'm not going to choose him. And if you guys don't, I'm going with Damien. From The Omen. That dude was
scary.
The personification of evil. He was the devil's son. Killed his fake mom. Made some lady jump out of a window at a birthday party. Controlled dogs that tore people up. Just all types of nonsensical, crazy things that the devil can do because he's the devil's kid. And then he became a politician, which was funny. But and there were I forget how many movies there were. There were like 4 or 5 from maybe the late 70s to the early 80s, and they're pretty boring. But him as a character, I think he's pretty scary because he's the devil's son. And like, I don't know if there's anything scarier than an evil little kid.
100% agree.
Because a bunch of people are always like, well, that's my kid. I want to stab him in the head. And I gotta be honest with you. As soon as I was like 99% sure that my son was the devil, it's on. Like, I'm sorry. I would have to murder the dude. And it is what it is.
Soon as they start speaking Latin backwards,
right?
It's over for them.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you're not my kid anymore. You're something else.
Nah, dude, just throw him in a cage or something.
Yeah,
you don't want to off him.
Good pick. I did not have that one on my list, so great choice. Ryan, you got the 102 here.
I am taking Jason Voorhees. It was tight for me. Dude, I just seen a clip of him the other day from Friday the 13th in Manhattan or whatever it was, where he's just being disrespectful, like just walking down the streets and kicking over people's boom boxes and like just throwing people on the ground just for the hell of it, to go with his body count of about 163, which is number 2 all time for horror movies.
Who's number 1?
Pinhead, but I just don't. Pinhead's not really my thing. He's at like 320.
I got to be honest with you. So Pinhead was my other thought, just for the fear factor alone of like some dude looking like that coming at you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But anyway.
100%.
But dude, like, if you're trying to have sex, Jason got you. You're getting impaled.
Yeah,
if you're having premarital sex in the woods, you're dead meat.
That is it for you for sure. All right, I'm up at the 103, and I'm not a huge horror movie fan, but this is one that I have seen a couple of these. There's a million of them. They just came out with one recently. It's the Halloween series, of course, Michael Myers. And the reason I went with him over the other guy that one of y'all might take is if we're gonna have like a battle royale, he has the best, sort of coming out music. His best intro music. The Halloween theme is just amazing. So I'll take Michael Myers here at the 103. Back to you, Shane.
So here's right. I feel like I should get. I'm gonna make my own rules up. I'm taking Freddy, right? But it's Kick-Ass Freddy from Elm Street 1, and then Scary Freddy from the remake. The Freddy's in the middle, too funny. Just too much comedy. And he was funny in the first one. The first time you ever saw him, he was killing people. So you're like, this is nuts. Like, this dude's screwed up.
He had like the Nintendo Power Glove, and now we're playing with power.
Like that, just nonsense. First one though, you're like, oh wow, did he just grind up Johnny Depp's guts in the middle of his bed? I believe it was Johnny Depp. And then in the remake, he was actually frightening. So that's who I'm going with there. I'm going with Freddy.
Nice. I like it. All right, Ryan, you got the 105. Yeah, 105.
I don't know if it counts as a horror movie, so I want to skip him. Even though I think if it's a battle royale, this person's undefeated. But we're getting weird. We're going with Chucky from Child's Play. He's just sneaky. You're going to have a hard time getting your hands on him. He is one of the most creative murderers of all time.
Yeah.
And
that kind of combines the kid mentality, but with a doll too. Like you get like the best of both worlds there.
And if you follow like into the like new show and stuff, he has now possessed all the good guy dolls in the world. So he can bring all of his boys out.
Yes. Good one. All right, I had Chucky on my list as well. All right, I'm up here at the 106, and this one I don't know if it qualifies as horror. I mean, I guess it does because it does get kind of creepy. But the girl Samara from The Ring, the one that comes out of
that's definitely horror. How would that not be horror?
I don't know. I guess I just didn't think of it. It's more like it's suspenseful the whole time, and then you do see her come out of the TV at one point. You're like, holy shit! But yeah, she's pretty badass, and the hair over the face and the way she walked was kind of all creepy. I'll take her here at the 105.
Jamie, that was from a season ago, by the way, in the chat. So if you're going to complain, keep up.
Which are you taking? Original, the Japanese version or the American version, or it doesn't matter. Just any girl coming out of a well.
Yeah, any girl coming out of the well with the hair over her face and the walk with that's just creepy as hell. So I'll take either version. All right, Shane, back to you here. 107.
So now I'm trying to go outside the box here, right? Like we're getting some really good ones. I'll go with Pet Sematary, and I'm going with again the remake, which I found scarier than the original. So it was the little girl, I believe, was the murderer in Pet Sematary, if I remember correctly. It was the little girl in the remake, little boy in the first one.
Original.
Same thing, scary little kids killing you. I don't know, you know what I mean? And they cut dude's Achilles. Pop's Achilles. Like, I don't know. These are vicious little children. So I'm going to go with these murdering dead zombie children.
I love it. You got a theme going on.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't like the children.
All right, Ryan, 108.
I'm torn now. I want to go with one that just terrifies me. In Mr. Boogie from Sinister. Just everything about him is just vile and creepy. But I'm going with the thing that probably scares me the most in the world, and that's clown. So we're going with Pennywise.
Yeah, that was on my
And he has all those like mystical powers, can turn into other stuff, tricking little kids. Just he's a monster, dude. I'm messing Pennywise.
Yeah. That's a good one. We had a couple Halloweens ago. We had a guy dressed up like Pennywise and just stood on the corner, literally the entire Halloween, just stood on the corner with the balloon.
Nah, dude, somebody should have called the cops on him.
I mean,
that's a predator.
In some cities, someone would have taken a shot at the dude. So
yeah,
pretty lucky that didn't happen.
All right, I'm going to close it out here with the 109, and I looked up her name and I couldn't pronounce it, so we're just going to call her the Grudge chick. I don't know if y'all have seen The Grudge, where she basically flips backwards and kind of walks all crazy.
Oh, yeah. It's just creepy.
That one is definitely, it's one of the ones I watched, and that one was it's very creepy, especially like I said when she flipped over backwards like that. I was like, oh, yep, that's enough for me.
Yeah, you two are just terrified of little kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's nothing.
That's how I know y'all are parents.
Yeah.
Well, here's horror, right? So horror just horror is always, it wants to take things that are familiar to you and things that shouldn't be scary, and it goes, well, what happens when we twist it? What's the worst thing you can imagine as a parent is a child that's fucking evil. Like literally, that's just your parental fear. Raising a normal child, you're like, please don't let them be a jerk off. A jerk off. You know what I mean? Just a jerk off. So then you're raising this kid and you're like, wait, it's not, this kid isn't just a jerk off. This kid's like an actual serial killer. Like, what do I do with this? Oh, it's also Satan. My son is Satan. Like, I really screwed the pooch on this one.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. All right, guys, let's get to some football stuff.
News and notes from around the league.
All right, so not a whole lot of news. We had a bunch of injury news that you probably already been covered on a lot of shows here, so we'll try to make it a little bit more interesting here and talk about some of the injury news that that from the ancillary positions. Like, let's go Justin Jefferson, for example, and I'll go to you first, Ryan, on Jefferson. So Jefferson's obviously out, going to be out 4 weeks. My question to you, though, is obviously Addison's probably the next guy up. But what about the other guys behind him? Is there anybody, the KJ Hamlers? Is there anybody else in that offense that benefits from him being out?
I think the biggest is Hawk. Like, I think the pecking order is going to go Hawk is absolutely fed. Unfortunately, I think KJ Osborne is going to get more run than Addison and more targets because he's already getting targeted, which is disgusting because he can't catch to save his life. But, like, I think that's going to be their three there. And that offense isn't the same without Jefferson. Like, you're trying to replace him with multiple people, not just one. But I think the offense is going to go through Hawkinson. And then hopefully it's Addison who takes that step up and cements his role. But I have this ill feeling that it's going to be Osborne, and I hate it.
Yeah, I mean, up until this point, you're right. I mean, he's been getting more snaps. He's been getting more targets. Addison's been having them better fantasy days, but because
it's so gross. It's so gross because he can't catch a cold in Alaska. Like, no.
What about with Kirk Cousins, Shane? Any thought, within Superflex leagues, are you worried about Kirk Cousins not being the Kirk Cousins you've had up to this point without Jefferson being there?
I mean, that's always a thought, right? Because Jefferson's so good. he can paper over any mistakes that you generally make as a quarterback. I think Kirk is good enough that he's going to be fine. I think he's closer to that. He's going to be closer to a low end wide receiver one QB one than a high end QB one. But I still think he'll be able to give you a little bit of something. So I'm not too concerned. No.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. What about your thoughts on the passing? You think Hawk is the biggest beneficiary besides the two receivers?
Yeah, I mean, Hawk, and then we'll talk about one of the dudes a little later too. But yeah, I expect Hawk. I'd assume he'd see some target share increase. But yeah, KJ Osborne, someone has to, right? So besides just either Jordan Addison or KJ Osborne, so I'd expect Hawk too. Maybe Cam Akers. Maybe they start using those running backs out of the backfield.
Yeah, I was just going to say, do you think that changes the way they do their offense? You think they lean more on Madison and Akers?
I don't know that they want to lean more on Madison, only because he's not particularly good. But maybe
poor Vikings players tonight. They're just not. There's nothing good's being said about them.
But maybe they do implement a little more of Cam Akers. You know what I mean? He is a pass catcher, so maybe they try to use him that way.
Yeah, good call. Let's make sense of this Miami backfield, Ryan. Devin Achane, of course, is I think officially now on the IR, so guaranteed to miss at least 4 weeks. Jeff Wilson Jr. practiced today. I don't think he's been officially active to play, but he is practicing. Of course, you got Raheem Mostert there already. You got Salvon Ahmad and a bunch of other guys there. If you had to pick one of these guys, which one do you want for the rest of the season?
Praying Achane comes back for the rest of the season. I'd still rather have him the rest of the season, even with missing 4 weeks. But Mostert. I've the most faith in him. They've used him. He's done very, very well for them. The other ones are kind of just throwing darts at a board, have one hits. Out of the rest of them, probably Jeff Wilson because of his history with McDaniel. But Mostert's the only one I'm comfortable with.
Yeah. What about you, Shane? What are your thoughts on the backfield here?
Mostert, just Mostert. I mean, if you've got him, to me, he's locked and loaded as a running back one. He's been efficient on not a lot of touches. Jeff Wilson, I'm sure, will get worked in. But if you looked at the workload, the opportunity share for Mostert before Devin Achane got there, it was really high, and I don't expect that to change. Why would you? Obviously, he'll get a spell from Ahmed, and he'll get a spell from Jeff Wilson if he's playing. Yeah,
the only worry I have with Jeff Wilson is because when Mike McDaniels was the offensive coordinator of the 49ers, he went to Wilson in the red zone a lot. He had a bunch of games where he had multiple touchdowns, even though he had very few touches. So I'm curious to how that shakes out with Raheem Mostert, who's getting the red zone touches now. But do they prefer Jeff Wilson in the red zone once he's fully healthy and ready to go to take away some of that value from Mostert? But I agree with both of you. I think Mostert is the guy that you want right now. And I agree with Ryan as well. It's still A-Chain when he comes back. If he can, if he can come back healthy, and you're going to plug him right back into your lineups. He's been too good.
4 weeks, so you go make some offers for him.
Yeah, 100%. Let's make sense of one more backfield here. Let's go to the Arizona Cardinals, and this one isn't quite as clear cut. We'll go to you first, Shane. James Conner placed on IR. We have the Amari DeMarcado. He was a waiver wire pickup. Then we have Keontae Ingram, who's currently being listed as the starter on the roster. We don't know if he'll actually be the starter or not. Been out for a few weeks. What are your thoughts on this backfield?
Well, first of all, Amardo DiMarcardo, Giuseppe Fugelli is a great name. I absolutely love him. No idea if he's any good at football. I believe he was Kendre Miller's backup. Wasn't drafted.
6 years in college.
Well, look, Van Wilder.
He was a super senior, man.
He is
as
a
super
Maybe
senior.
He's a doctor. Let's refer to him as Dr. Mercado.
Dr. Emery DeMarcado. Okay.
Yeah,
let's
Dr. Mercado. That's what I'm calling him.
Better than his nickname we gave him on our podcast last night.
He got every touch after James Conner went out last week, but Keontae Ingram wasn't there. Keontae Ingram's allegedly the starter. I hate being this guy, but I'm probably just staying away from that backfield. Like, I don't see a reason to start either of those guys when it's questionable like that. If I thought one guy, if I knew it was going to be Dr. Mercado, fine. I'll start him if I have to, but I'll stay away for now.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Ryan, on this backfield?
Spoiler alert for Fade or Spade, and I am fading this entire backfield because James Conner was mildly efficient because he's a decent back and can pound the ball. These dudes, man, I don't want any parts of this.
Yeah.
This team is just broken. There's only one person who I'd start on this team, and it's not one of them.
Yeah, agreed. All right, let's take a look at two tight ends real quick. Travis Kelce, I guess he's assumed he's going to play now. And then Greg Dulcich, who's designated to come back from IR. Still not heard if he's going to play yet or not in this game tomorrow night. Ryan, I'm going to go to you first here. Are you any worry about Travis Kelce, one, playing and then being efficient? And then if Greg Dulcich was your starter to begin the season, are you just plugging him into your lineup if he plays tonight or tomorrow night?
So Kelce, he came back in the game after he got hurt. So that makes me believe he should be good to go. I'm obviously not a doctor. I don't know any of this stuff, but I'm following closely, and I want to play Travis Kelce. And Travis Kelce at 65% is better than anybody you're going to start in fantasy if you had Travis Kelce on your team. Because I assume you're not going to have Andrews or Hawk if you have him. So he's better than whatever you're going to start. So just roll with it.
Yeah.
And Dulcich, I'm going to wait and see. I'm not starting him if I don't have to for the first week or two because Denver's a shit show. Nothing's working out well. Russ looks lost. Maybe Dulcich will be the answer and help him start getting clicks. He have a tight end to throw to. But you know what? I'm going to wait and see, and I'd rather have him chill on my bench with 15, 20 points than pop him out there and probably do it 0.
Yeah. Shane, what are your thoughts on these two guys?
Not touching Dulcich right now. If Kelsey's playing, then he's in my lineup. There's not a world that I'm sitting Kelsey in.
Yeah.
No.
Agreed. All right, let's get to some Spade or Fade.
Spade or Fade.
All right, if you're new to the show, Spade or Fade is just a fancy way of saying sit start. So Spade is going to be a start, guy that you like that's kind of on the cusp of starting or sitting, and then of course a Fade is the guy that we're not playing. Shane, we'll start with the Spades first. Who you got for one of your Spades?
For Ryan specifically, Jordan Addison. My dude just set
I love Addison.
Career highs in snap share, target share, targets, tied for receptions, and Justin Jefferson is not going to be there. You take out his one donut game, and I know that's not how this works, but you take out his one donut game when they sat him because I don't know what he did. He did something to offend someone. He didn't block or something. He's averaging 15.5 points per game. Obviously, Justin Jefferson has a lot to do with that, loosening up the defense. I don't think anyone was keying in on Addison, but I'm going to take the shot on the rookie, and I think he's going to produce for us.
Yeah, I like that. I like that call. What about you, Ryan? What you got for your Spade?
I am sticking with the rookie thing, and I am going with Rasheed Rice. With Kelsey, even if he's hurt, he could be a little bit of a decoy. And we've been seeing over 5 targets for the last 3 games for Rasheed Rice. We've seen red up zone opportunities. We've seen him score this week. I like that he's getting more involved in the offense. And they should beat the brakes off of Denver. And
as everyone
he
does.
could be a beneficiary, as everybody does.
Yes.
And he could be a big beneficiary of it.
Yeah, I like it. Well, we're going to stick with the rookie theme one more time. I'm going to go with Josh Downs at Jacksonville. Minshew targets the hell out of him. I think the last time that Minshew was played part of the game, or maybe he started that game, he had 12 targets in that game. And this last week, he had 8 or 6 targets and, had his best game of the year with Minshew at quarterback. We all love AR as a fantasy asset, and he's been great. But when Minshew plays, Downs seems to have a increased value in his target. So, against Jacksonville, I'll take Minshew, and and I'm just going to piggyback right on that. And one of my other spades in a Superflex league is start Minshew as well. This is his return to Jacksonville. Minshew mania started there, so he's going to be wanting to sort of light it up there. And I think him and Josh Downs would be a good stacking combination if you're in a league where you got to start these guys. So those are two spades that I got: Josh Downs and Gardner Minshew back to back. Let's do fades, Shane. What you got for a fade?
I'm going to take low-hanging fruit. Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel has had, let's see, going back to those last 2 weeks, he had a 0% target share, which is pretty hard to do, and then a 12% target share. And then he gets to face the Browns this week, whose defense is, what's a word for it? Nasty. Just absolutely. They're first in the league in points allowed against wide receivers in fantasy. I didn't look at the other positions. I'm just going to assume they're up there for every position because that defense is just wicked good. It is so good. So Deebo is kind of falling behind Ayuk anyway, and they're facing a tough defense. Yeah, I'm good. I'm looking for someone else.
Yeah, I'm with you on there as a Niners fan. I think it's going to be Ayuk, and then everyone else kind of fills in there, and Deebo's not somebody that I want. So good one there. Ryan, what you got?
I'm actually hopping on the opposite side, and I am benching Jerome Ford here. Him against San Fran, man. They're going to get, it's not game script wise, talent wise. It's just none of this matches up for a good day for Jerome Ford.
Yeah, so that's exactly who I had my fade as well. Jerome Ford. The Niners have not allowed a 100-yard rusher since week 9 of 2021. It's 33 straight games they have not allowed a 100-yard rusher. I know there's, Jerome Ford catches passes as well, but I just don't see it for him this week with the 49ers defense coming in. I think they're just too damn good. But since you stole mine, I'll go to Antonio Gibson. I know he was a guy that we liked a little bit on the show coming into the season, and they have not used him at all. And he had a pretty good game last week. He had 6 catches, but he didn't have any carries. They were not giving this guy the ball at all. They were down, throwing the ball a ton. He happened to get 6 catches. But I'm not buying it versus Atlanta. It's going to be a slow-paced game. Both teams are going to want to run the ball, play good defense. It's not a Gibson game. It's more of a Brian Robinson game. So I will be fading Gibson. If you got excited about his last week's game, I still wouldn't be putting him in my lineups. You got any more spades, Shane?
I was just going to say TMC, Terry McLaurin. Again, facing another tough pass defense with the Falcons, the 5th fewest points allowed to the position. And 3 out of 5 games this year, Terry McLaurin's gone under 20% target share, which I definitely didn't see that coming into the season.
No, definitely. And I was on Jahan Dotson as well, and he's not doing too good either. Yeah. That offense is not great. Ryan, what you got? You got another spade or a fade you want to talk about?
Yeah, I got another person I want to talk about, Spade, for starting. And he's coming off an injury, so I think people are going to be a little bit hesitant. And for some reason, they've already been hesitant, even though he's really good all the time. And that's Mike Evans. They're coming into a shootout, or should be a shootout in Detroit. Detroit's giving up almost 30 points to the receiver position. And even like his game's not predicated off of speed. So like that hamstring lingering isn't going to hurt him that much because he plays that physical game as essentially as power forward. And I think that makes his recovery a little bit quicker where he's going to come. They're going to throw. If he's on the field, they're throwing the ball to him because he's that dude.
Yeah, I like it. I got let's see, I got one more Spade, and then we'll move on to the next segment. And I'm going to be starting Gabe Davis versus the New York Giants. I think Gabe Davis is, the hate swung. We said it during the offseason. The hate swung a little bit too far. I think Gabe Davis is still a good receiver. Josh Allen's finally looking for him. He's a big receiver. He seems to be the guy that they target in the red zone as well, which is something that you really want in a receiver. Obviously had a really, really big game overseas in London last week, and he gets the lowly Giants defense this week at home. So give me Gabe Davis as one of my spades as well. All right, let's do some underdog pick'ems.
Prop bet of the week.
All right, let me bring up the screen here. And Shane, we'll let you go first here. What you got for one of your picks here for underdog?
All right, so I want to get this over with. Like either we know we won or we lost. I'm going to go with Isaiah Pacheco, more than 75.5 rushing yards. That Denver defense is absolutely god-awful bad. I could rush for 36.5 yards on them. So if you see Shane Manila's over-under is 36.5, take the over on that. But I won't go far over. So if that line moves at all, don't touch it. But, I'm going to take Pacheco. I think he's going to absolutely decimate them. Denver's given up the most rushing yards. They're giving up the most fantasy points per game to the position. I was looking at Brandon Gonzalez Cottrell's Thursday night preview on the Destination Devy, and he just wrote that out. It's one of the first things he hits, and that's one of the first things that hits for me. I didn't look. Is Sam Howell's rushing over under on here?
Let's see. Let's look up Sam Howell. Sam Howell only has passing yards and interceptions right now.
All right. Whatever Sam Howell, if they put one up on there, if it's over under 13.5, take Sam Howell. He's hit that like every game.
Good call. Good stuff. Isaiah Pacheco is a great one too. And I had in my DFS article last week for Fantasy Pros that it was Breece Hall week, and it was Breece Hall week. he broke out against this defense. You can't go wrong going with this defense. I like it. Ryan, what you got for yours?
Staying with the Thursday night thing, I'm actually going on the other side, though. I'm taking Marvin Mims over 17.5. Denver's going to have to throw the ball, and they're going to have to take shots. He's gone over that 3 times, the 3 of the 5 times this year. And those 3 times, he's gone well over it. The times he hasn't, they've been kind of like grinding him out games against other bad teams. But, dude, they got to throw the ball, and Chiefs should put up a ton of points. Like, it only takes 1 to get 17.5, and you're that big of a deep threat.
Yeah, I like it. Good call. All right, so mine is actually going to come from the Colts in the Jacksonville game, and I talked about him as one of my spades, and I'm taking the over on Gardner Minshew to 216.5 passing yards. Looking at your two, mine's probably going to be the one that breaks us, but I think Gardner Minshew really wants to play well in this game, and I think that they're going to be playing catch up with Jacksonville, and I think Gardner Minshew puts up more than 216.5 this week, so that'll be my third leg here. Let me go ahead and lock it in. Hopefully, it doesn't give me the notification of my location. Let's see if it takes it. Put that in for $5. All right, sweet. So we are locked in. Just to recap it, Isaiah Pacheco higher than 75.5 rushing yards. Marvin Mims higher than 17.5 receiving yards. And Gardner Minshew higher than 216.5 passing yards is our prop bet. Hopefully this week breaks the streak. Like I mentioned at the top, we have not hit one this year so far. So hopefully this is the week that we do it. All right, now time for some accountability.
I'm stupid. You're smart. I was wrong. You were right. You're the best. I'm the worst. You're very good looking. I'm not attractive.
All right. As long as you're willing to admit that now.
All right, so let's get to some players that we liked coming into the season, and it's now going into week 6 that we're probably pretty much giving up on. Shane, we'll let you go first here.
I don't know. I mean, we could go Deontay Johnson. We could go Terry McLaurin. We could go. I'm just trying to think of guys that can't be resurrected. I've given up all hope for. Leonard Fournette, thought he was going to sign with a team. He's still hanging out on too many of my rosters because I'm going, no, I'm not letting go. At some point, he's going to sign with someone. Kareem Hunt's another one. Look, I thought I was and I know these are like low. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. But these are guys like not a people I probably didn't expect a lot of. These are those two running backs, Kareem Hunt and Leonard Fournette, I had in like 20% of all my leagues. And I was just like, I'm the smartest kid in the room. This is going to be such a good move for me once these guys resign. And Fournette's never signed with anyone. And Kareem Hunt has looked like the abominable snowman so far when he has played. So it hasn't been great.
Yeah. And I'll piggyback onto that and say that this is a guy I was buying, and I kept using the narrative that he plays for a passing team and he's the passing down running back. He's going to get all the passes in this offense. And that's Jerick McKinnon, who's basically been the forgotten man. I mean, he was like an MVP for fantasy league last year, and they forgot they have him. Isaiah Pacheco is now catching all the passes, which just surprised the hell out of me. I think he had like 11 catches all of last year. Now he's the passing down and the running back. So Jerick McKinnon is a forgotten man, and he's someone that I was buying in all of my best ball leagues, especially. That's been not good. What about you, Ryan?
I'm gonna say I'm never wrong, but if I were to pick somebody I was wrong about, and I had all the faith in the world in, who is just letting me down, and it's more I think because of the team than him. But dude, I'm out of him at least for this year. That's from Andre Stevenson. Dude, they just ignored him. The fact they brought Zeke, who's like basically in a walker in and is getting more burn. Stop it. He's running back 27 right now, and he's inefficient. He can't get in the end zone. He's just playing bad football because the Patriots stink right now.
Yeah.
And I don't see them getting any better, which is terrible for him. I hope his situation changes, or else it's going to be a wash, dude.
Yeah. He was
like
my RB5 coming into the season. I had him super high.
Yeah, like his style of football, you're going to take a beating no matter what carries you take. And if it's like they're taking now, it's bad.
Yeah. It's been not good, that's for sure. I got another one. I got a quarterback that I want to talk about. That's I can't say that I was thinking of him as a QB1. It was more a super flex league. I thought he'd be a QB2 at least, and he played really well towards the end of last season. Thought he would carry it into this season. Then he lit the preseason up, and I was like, oh yeah, this guy's gonna have a breakout season. And that's Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett does not look the part at all. Like I said, he looked good towards the end of last season, and other than his last game, his last couple of drives when he beat the Baltimore Ravens, he has not looked like an NFL quarterback at all. Sorry, Ryan, I had to just get that jab in there. But yeah, Kenny Pickett was a guy that I was liking, and I thought because of that, I liked Pickens, I liked Najee Harris. I thought the offense was going to be much better this year. And
Harris straight stinks too. I'm out on him.
Yeah, he's another one that
he just looks. He looks like he's running molasses.
Yeah, it's Jalen Warren season now. I mean, he's looked so much better than Najee Harris. It's crazy because I've been fighting that for a couple weeks now, but it's Jalen Warren, and that's it. You got anybody else on your list, Shane?
So Trevor Lawrence. I under the pretext that I thought this dude was going to take the step up and become an elite QB1. And I'm still waiting. I've been underwhelmed every game I've watched that he's in. I don't see it. You know what I mean? I'm not a scout, but there's just something you see with certain quarterbacks that it's different, right? Like you watch Jalen Hurts and you watch Trevor Lawrence, and obviously it's not this. Their games are vastly different. There's just something else there. I don't know what it is. I don't know what you call that, but. For me, it's Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you. And I took him in a redraft, my work league in like the 8th or 9th round. I thought, oh man, I got to steal this guy, falling this low in a one quarterback league. Yeah, he's kind of been hurting me ever since. I went and picked up CJ Stroud, and I've been playing him over Trevor Lawrence, which I got Stroud on the waiver wire. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, he's been hurting me as well. Ryan, you got any more?
Yeah, he was a fan. We're big on him in the podcast early in the season because we thought he was going to get all the volume in the world. We just didn't realize he was behind probably the worst offensive line we've ever seen with Miles Sanders. He stinks out loud there. He's wishing for the good old days of when he was making less money in Philly. And it's ugly, man. I want no parts of that rotting a game right now. And we thought he was a sneaky pick. He's not. He was a sneaky pick.
Yeah. I thought for sure volume would be the thing that gets him there. And
Yeah.
James in the chat earlier about Alexander Madison, I thought the same with him. It'd be volume to get him there.
He was always bad, but he was always bad at football.
True. Yeah.
And same with AJ Dillon. Also always bad at football.
Yeah. Yeah. Sanders screwed me. As a matter of fact, those two guys that you mentioned, Stevenson and Miles Sanders, are tanking my Scott Fishbowl team, which you can see I have the shirt on tonight. Absolutely tanking my team. I have both those guys, and it's not been a good season for me for Scott Fishbowl. All right, let's get to some listener questions.
Go ahead. Ask me anything.
I think the most important question is Kane's question in the chat right now.
Is this Jeff's real hair? Yes, yes, it is, Kane. I've grown all my hair out. It's getting a little too long now. It's probably too long. I probably need to trim up a little bit, but yeah, I've.
It's to the point where you're starting to look like you work for El Chapo.
It's glorious. I gotta be honest with you. It's got a lot of volume and bounce and curl to it. I know a lot of women that would kill for hair like that.
I mean, Jeff, I don't know what you look like without a shirt on, but you could be in some spandex jumping off a top rope on somebody with that hair.
Yeah, definitely not doing that. Definitely not. All right, let's get to the first question here. Voodoo Crew. He wants to know. He's giving away, I'm guessing it's got to be a one quarterback league. He doesn't say it in here, but he's giving away CeeDee Lamb. He's getting Joe Burrow, Saquon Barkley, and Tank Dell. I'm going to go to you, Ryan, on this one. What do you think here on this one? Joe Burrow, Saquon Barkley, Tank Dell for CeeDee Lamb.
I'm curious if this is redraft or dynasty, but
yeah, he didn't specify which one it is.
Honestly, it doesn't matter. I don't think. I'm a huge CeeDee Lamb proponent, but I'm taking the package. Like, Barkley's going similar production. I think Barkley, once he's healthy, he's fine. Joe Burrow is starting to click again. Obviously, quarterback. Tank Dell is just up and coming. He's starting to shine, and he can be a flex option for you in a pinch with just how crazy the season's been. That's 3 quality starters. I don't think your drop off from Barkley to Lamb's a big deal. Yeah, I like that trade for him.
What about you, Shane? What are your thoughts on this trade? CeeDee Lamb for Burrow, Barkley, Dell.
I'm assuming this is not super flex.
Not super flex. Yeah, it's definitely.
If it's super flex, this is
I want
steal.
Yeah, I want CeeDee Lamb. I don't unless you're starting. Well, it's not super flex, so I got to be starting at least 12. Where I'm taking Burrow, Barkley, and Tank Dell for CeeDee Lamb. Give me the one strongest asset. It's redraft. It's most likely start 9, at most start 10. And that ain't the type of format I'm taking a package like this for CeeDee Lamb.
Fair enough. All right, let's go with this one here, Shane. This is from Vice2K on Discord. It's a simple question. Rest of season, Joe Mixon or James Cook? And it's a PPR league.
James Cook, only because I'm going to sink with the ship.
You're on the Cook train coming in?
Yeah, literally no other reason than that, because Joe Mixon's the one getting all the work. James Cook's Lat Murray is stealing receiving work from him and third down work from him, and I don't know what's going on there, but I'm going to go down with the ship and hope that the Bills realize that that's not a good idea and that they should have Cook on the field.
Yeah, it was weird because they were giving Cook a lot of the work, and then they just suddenly decided to change their mind and play Latavius.
And that's them. They lost to Jacksonville. That's what they get.
Yeah, that's what they get. Hopefully they learn their lesson for sure. All right, Ryan, this one's for you. This is just $1. 12 teams start 10 super flex, and he's a contender that needs receivers. So Mike Evans and Jacoby Myers for Kyron and a late 24 first. Obviously, dynasty.
Yeah. I've taken Mike Evans. I think I trust him the rest of the year. We've seen a lot. Kyler Williams has been very, very good in the passing game. Via cutback taken away from his targets. We have this offense may not be as good as we've seen. And I don't know if those red zone opportunities where he's getting this absurd amount is doing, because I'm not chasing touchdowns. But I know Mike Evans is going to get volume. And if I'm a contender, I want to do who I can start, who's going to give me top 12 potential every time.
Yeah, that's the key word there is contender to me, because if you look at dynasty, Mike Evans is on the downswing of his career, obviously. That's 24 first. But if you're talking contender and you're going for it this year, I think Mike Evans and Kobe Myers is where you want. I think Kyron Williams comes back down to earth a little bit after the hot start that he's had.
It doesn't make sense. He's just so inefficient. It makes me so mad.
It's just that Ronnie Rivers is, I don't even know if he's an NFL level player, and the same with Zach Evans. So and we've already seen, I don't even know if Royce Freeman's still on that team, but we've seen.
I didn't even know I didn't realize he was still in the league.
They picked him up one day and I was like, I'm not doing it. Not adding him to my roster. I don't care. I don't care.
I mean, we've had one game over 55 yards.
Yeah.
He's just gotten touchdowns.
Yep.
And that, like, three two-touchdown games.
He gets all he does get all the goal line carries for that team. I mean, he gets all the rushing work and all the receiving work with running back. So unless something happens and they trade for a player, probably not going to change.
Yeah.
No, but he's still only gotten over 15 touches once, or only 15 carries once. Like, I just don't trust it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, this one's from Ken on the Discord, Shane, and this one's a simple one. It's full PPR. Alvin Kamara or Jalen Waddle? Waddle's kind of struggled a little bit. Not worried about his struggle at all?
Not too much, a little bit. Waddle definitely has been on the struggle bus. He just had his best week in targets, leading the what do you call those people? The Dolphins in targets this past week. And also I'm assuming this is Dynasty. That's how I'm taking it.
Yeah, it doesn't say, but yeah, most of them are probably Dynasty.
I'm gonna in Dynasty it wouldn't even be close to me. In redraft, I could understand.
All right. Yeah, it's Waddle for me as well. I think even redraft or Dynasty, I think I'm still leaning Waddle. The upside is just definitely there. That offense is just too damn good.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan, this one's for you. RB2 this week, and this is some ugly options. This is like pick the worst, the best of the worst. Jeff Wilson Jr., Roshan Johnson, who I know Jamie in the chat loves, or Tajay Spears. Who are you taking here as your RB2?
I'm staying on brand, Roshan. I mean, Khalil Herbert's out, which is good for him. We've seen flashes. I know it's not pretty, but we don't know if Jeff Wilson's going to be involved. Ravens still have a really good run defense for Tajay Spears, and he's still the RB2. Roshan can get work against the Vikings, like the matchup wise and the path to carries matches the most.
Yeah, I think talent wise too. I think he's the best of that group. I think Tajay Spears has potential.
I think Tajay Spears is talented, but I think talent wise, Roshan, yes.
Yeah, I think he has the opportunity to potentially even take that starting job if he plays well enough this week to knock Khalil Herbert out of there. So,
God, I hope so.
Yeah, I think Jamie does too. I know he's talked about it in a lot of his chats that I've seen too. So, all right, next one is from Sammy Aces, and he wants to know odd man out here. So it's half point PPR. You got to pick one of these guys to bench. Shane, Jordan Addison, Chris Godwin, or Devonta Smith.
This is a tough one. I already said that I'm starting Addison, so I can't stop myself now when my feet are to the fire. Devonta Smith hasn't been getting targeted and hasn't produced in the last couple of weeks, but he did do the thing where you walk up and down the sideline and look pissed off during the game, which historically has worked for wide receivers, and specifically has worked with wide receivers and Jalen Hurts. Sometimes, he gets a little infatuated with one dude over another. It's fine. AJ Brown's very, very pretty man. I understand it, but I think Devonta Smith is going to get some greasy, oily wheel, greasy wheel, squeaky wheel. He's going to get some squeaky wheel treatment this week.
Wheel treatment.
Yeah, we talk about that on the DFS show a lot. Actually, I've talked about getting a drop whenever we have the squeaky wheel and just hitting the little drop because it seems to happen. Someone complains about not getting the ball, or it was Jamar Chase. Like, what was he saying? Throw me the fucking ball.
Yeah,
and they threw.
They threw him the fucking ball.
Yeah, a whole bunch. So, all right, another one from Ken here. He's got you got to start 2 of these Superflex leagues. 6-point touchdown passing. He's got 3 quarterbacks. Ryan, Sam Howell, Geno Smith, or Jared Goff.
Geno and Jared. Sam Howell, man. Till he does something, he ain't starting for me.
Last week in junk time, he did something.
He crushed. He crushed in fantasy. I keep waiting for him to get benched though, so that's why I can never start him either. Because that dude also deserve.
The junk time isn't going to be as much against the Falcons because they both stink out loud.
It was the
Huh?
Bears, though. We wouldn't think the Bears were going to be very good either.
Justin Fields is hitting stride, baby.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we got one last one here, Shane. It's a trade question. So it's a dynasty question. Higgins, Brandon Ayuk, and a 25 first for Bijan and Elijah Moore.
Man, this is coming right for my heart. I've vented the last 2 days about my hatred of the running back position because it continually kicks me in the nuts, like a perverted Peanuts sketch. But instead of holding a football, Lucy's holding my balls as Charlie. What's his name? Charlie
Brown.
Charlie Brown. Yes, I was going to call him Charlie Peanut. Tries to kick me, but anywho, I'm going to take Higgins, Ayuk, the 25 first, and get out of the running back market now. Just do it. Just do it. Yeah.
Ryan, what are your thoughts? Yeah, I know you're big on Bijan here. What do you think?
Dude, the running back position is ruining me this year. It's like the injuries are legitimately changing, making me be like, oh, these zero RB people who I thought were dumbasses forever, maybe they're not. Maybe they got something here. I never thought they were actually dumbasses. I just didn't agree with them. I understood the logic, but I hated it. But regardless, we're like, I'm still taking Bijan because I know the value of Bijan in fantasy right now. And like, he makes one absurd catch last week, and you can honestly trade him for more.
Yeah.
Like, I could get Bijan in this deal and get more than Higgins Ayuk in the first. Like, I could get him just to flip him and win because of his perceived value. When Higgins is struggling a little bit, Ayuk's value is up and down, and a first is a first. Like, you can move Bijan for an absurd amount.
Yeah. Speaking of that catch, have you seen the top-down view of that where they slow it down and make it look like Allen Iverson's crossing over?
Yeah, it was stupid. But you know what? No, they don't do that for they're not doing that for anybody else in the league on any catch. That's how you know his value is absurd, and you can flip him for way more than that.
Yeah.
So take that deal and flip him.
It's pretty crazy. If you haven't seen it, Shane, look on Twitter for it. He catches the ball and literally looks like he's crossing over behind his back.
It's
the
super.
defender cool. Like doesn't know where he's going. It's hilarious.
It is real cool.
So I'll be the tiebreaker here, and I think I'm going with the Higgins, Ayuk, and the 24 first side. So I do think Higgins has struggled, but I still think he's worth at least a first and a second, if not two firsts, and then Ayuk, and that makes it almost 4 first value. I don't know if Bijan's quite in that range there. Elijah Moore is just a throw in. I'm not even going to count him. It's mostly for Bijan's. I'll take the receivers, Higgins, Ayuk, in the first.
All right, I just watched it on Twitter. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He's like the Bijan side now.
All right, let's get to our last segment of the night.
Get ready for GoingFor2.com's Forgotten Fantasy Player of the Week.
All right, Shane, what you got for us?
All right, I think the last time I did this, I think I gave Brian Westbrook.
Wait. It's clues now.
Yeah,
I know.
Okay.
I don't know. No,
just the way you said it, I'm like, don't spoil it.
Well, so I'm gonna go. It's a New York Giant, which not very helpful, right?
Brandon Jacobs.
But wasn't he a running back? Big old running back.
Yeah.
You said
okay. Well, my second clue. It's a wide receiver.
Okay.
I didn't tell you that yet.
Yeah, I was like, just do a guess out.
So I didn't tell you that the second clue is that it's a wide receiver.
All right.
So I was all incredulous at you, like, why are you giving me a running back? I didn't tell you the position.
All right. Giants wide receiver, Victor Cruz.
That's exactly it.
That's the first one I would think of.
No.
Okay, keep going.
Did have back-to-back wide receiver 1 seasons.
Is it the other Steve Smith?
Not the other Steve Smith, although that would have been a good one. There's no way you would ever gotten him.
Plexico Burris.
No, unfortunately not. He was a first-round draft pick, NFL draft pick. Someone's guessing Mario Manningham. Also not him.
Dude, the fact that name got thrown out there, wow. Okay. First-round draft pick.
First-round draft pick. New York Giants. What can we get like an error? Like where exactly was he playing? Is this recent? Is it like
It's
back in the 80s?
Let me look at the stats right here. So it's definitely it's this century. It's in the 2000s.
All right.
I won't go back to the 80s because I couldn't tell you one wide receiver that played for the Giants in the 80s.
Well, we get John Lobb on here sometimes, and he goes way back to the 70s. Sometimes we're like,
the only Giant pass catcher I remember for some reason is Mark Bavaro. Wait, did he even play for them, or was he a Jet?
He wasn't.
I don't even know.
He wasn't Jet, but he might have been. He might have been a Giant as well. All right.
Wide receiver Jets Pro 2000.
Did he play for any other team besides the Giants, or was he a lifetime Giant?
That is actually a good question. Hold on, I'm gonna have to look that up.
What was the question? I knocked my headphones out. I'm like,
did he play for any other team but the Giants, or was he a lifetime Giant? Oh, Akeem Nicks is a great guess.
Okay, he did play for one other team.
Okay, it's not Akeem Nicks because Kane's got Hakeem Nicks.
It is Akeem Nicks.
Good job.
Good job, Kane. It's not often that the chat gets it before us. Jamie gets them occasionally before.
I think it's happened like twice ever. That's good.
Yeah.
Dude, I loved Hakeem Nicks. I absolutely loved him. He's a dude that I was all in on. His rookie season, it was good, but dude, that second year, he was an absolute monster, and I just knew that kid was going to be a monster.
Where did he go to college again? Was it
North Carolina?
Okay, yeah, I did know that. Shit.
Yeah. See, so I thought that might give it away, so I was holding that out.
That's normally the one that the clue that people give that helps me.
Gives it to Ryan. I would never have got it. I don't know college.
That's my favorite clue anybody can give.
Yeah. I think Ryan once got it on the very first clue. It was like played for, I forget what team it was. He's like, that's who it is. And the guy's like, yeah, how the hell did you get that? It's based on the college.
The college is my favorite clue. Good. That's a good pull, man.
That's
for like
really
a recent one, that's great.
Where did he finish his career at? What was the other team?
The Colts, apparently.
I don't
remember that.
Yeah, I don't know if I had to just look it up. I don't know if he actually played a game. It said he played 7 years with the Giants and then with the Colts. I remember the Giant years. I remember those first few years when he looked like he was the next big thing. I remember a Monday night game against the Eagles. Obviously, I don't remember exactly when, but I just remember them throwing him jump balls 40 yards down the field and him just housing them, just absolutely eviscerating whoever was covering him at the time. And it would have been a good cornerback for the Eagles too, whoever it was at that time. But that kid, he just looked like he was going to be so good.
Yeah, what happened to him? Was it
injuries?
Yeah,
injuries, man. He just kept getting injured.
Yeah, that's tough. Great pull though. We've never had Akeem Nicks. We've been doing this 6 or 7 years now, and that's not one that we've ever had.
That's really good. I like that one.
Good stuff. All right, y'all. That wraps the podcast up. I want to thank you, Shane, for coming on once again. We finally got to get you on. I asked you a couple of times, but you had other stuff going on at the time. But we got you free on a Wednesday night, so appreciate you jumping on with us tonight. Why don't you give everybody your Twitter handle one more time and plug all your content?
All right. At Shane is the worst. On the X, Twitter, whatever. On my written content on DestinationDevy.com. Follow the volume every week. It's also on English. Killing me. End of the show. Anyway, we do Dynasty Trades in 5. We do a live stream every Tuesday. And then there's a podcast version of that on Destination Devy Radio that comes out the following day for the people that don't like watching things live. And I also do Manic and Chill with my Dynasty Trades in 5 co-host, Scott Connor. Again, if you don't like to watch YouTube, that also comes out in podcast form on Destination Devy. So pretty much everything's housed through there, man. And like I said, we got a Patreon. So if anyone's looking to spend more money on this game, come spend it on me. I'm a big whore. I'll take your money and do things to you for it.
Good stuff. Ryan, what you got going on?
Oh, same old. Find me on Twitter, Foss534. Find me here Wednesday nights. Find me over at the Rookie Big Board. I put out one less weekly written content than Shane at 0. So find me talking a lot and not shutting up.
Yeah, Ryan stopped writing a long time ago.
No, dude, I realized I was illiterate and I was like, this ain't gonna pay the bills.
All right, good stuff. As always, guys, you can find me on Twitter at Geoff Lambert77. Of course, check out the Going for 2 Discord. You can find it in my Twitter profile. You can find it at goingfor2.com. All of our content, of course, all our written content with all of our writers is over at goingfor2.com. And now you can find all of our videos. You can find us audio. You can find show synopsis, the whole nine, over at goingfor2.live on the website. For Shane, for Ryan, I'm Geoff, and we will see y'all next week.